Royalty Beauty Brands is a female, Black-owned beauty company with all of your cosmetic needs in mind. Right now, we offer hair extensions, eyelash extensions, and our flagship product, Yumbella Lip Glam. Coming soon to add to our product line will be promo merchandise, lip oil, lip scrub, beard oil, body butter, body soap, and makeup, to name a few. Every product is vegan friendly and carefully made with the consumer in mind. Check out our Royalty Beauty Brand social media and go to our website to sign up for our exclusive mailing list for discount codes and to place an order. Don't forget to leave us some feedback. Royalty Beauty Brands. We see the beauty in you.
Baby hustle, but the night. Know that the ride or die.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the House of the Princess.
I keep waiting on my seat. Know that the ride or die.
I'm 50% righteous, 50% ratchet.
Baby hustle, but the night. Waiting on my seat. Know that the ride or die. My name came up a lot of sounds. More when
Thank
I
y'all
was
for
not
joining
around.
us.
Certain people that I know.
Welcome to the House of the Princess, where it's me, your host, Princess AV, where I am 50% righteous and 50% ratchet. I'm giving you another look today. And look, I got so caught up in trying to make this look right, I forgot to put my crown on. So I will be getting off camera to give y'all what y'all want tonight. Welcome. Y'all know the rules. As you're sitting down, please press the like button. If you're in the replay game, please press the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel. It doesn't cost you anything to support me. Please support Black business. Press that like button and that subscribe button to get me all up in your algorithms, okay? And if you really like what's going on here, make sure that you press that notification bell. And if you want to know when I'm always on, go back and press the all button and you will get notifications or reminders whenever this channel goes live. And also, if you really like me and like what's going on that channel, I need you to look by that subscribe button and press the join button, okay? Whether it's these last $2 or you $25, we have something for everyone here. We have exclusive after darks. We have parties, movie nights. We got a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to have a vision board party for the end of the year and a lot of good stuff. My channel is fun. So please join the fun and support a Black business. And that way you can always support me every month and help me help you. Okay. I entertain you. I come every week, constantly trying to give you good content. So help a sister out. Also, cash apps and super chats. PayPal's, Venmo, I do have it all. I even accept credit cards or just support one of my businesses. It is always appreciated and needed so I can look so wonderful for you. I have these lights, I have this internet, I have this beautiful camera and this computer. And look, the Wi-Fi got to be paid for and the light bill. So I appreciate y'all very much. And I'm saying that right now. And I appreciate all of my supporters and everybody that is here. I love y'all. So let me give y'all shouts out real quick this Monday. Wendy was in the building early. Hi, Wendy, the mother of the house, Ms. Black Diamond. Give her respect. My knight in shining armor, Jay Rucker. How you doing? Miss Easley, been missing you a couple of days. These are the card-carrying legal royal citizens of the channel. Hey, Plum, Willie Brown. This is one of our newest members. Yes, Norfolk, Virginia in the house. Our knight in shining armor, Evelyn. Yes, and the support team is in the building. Hey, Robin. Hey, Candace. Hey, Snooky. Sandra. And she has a red cup. And I forgot, as I'm sending them shouts out, go get you a cool beverage and a snack so we can have a good time. Whether it be water, whether it be wine, whatever makes you feel fine, go throw it back and let's have a good time. Put your red cups or your wine glasses in the chat and let me know what you're throwing back here. Yes, Robin, hey, I see you are family. Yes, I surprised you with a new look. Hey, Yvette, and thank you so much, Sassy 1965. Hey, Janet. Hi, I am love, light, and energy. I love it. Thank you, Sassy. Okay, Dr. J popping it off in the beginning with the super chat. Thank you so much. And you get a ghetto soul clap. Thank you so much. I saw it today. I said I had to have it. Okay. Hey, California cutie in the building. Hey, sis. Remember to watch me and California Cutie in Love and Marriage Huntsville. She has her own room in the palace, and we are waiting on her to get her own channel. Yes. Okay. Miss Weedy Pooh, the knight in shining armor. Sassy got a red cup. And hey, Rain won. Okay. Thank y'all for coming in and sitting down. Okay. So today we're a little bit more righteous today. Okay. We're talking to veterans. I have one in the building waiting on another one to come in the building. I think that we are affected by veterans, or veterans are more affected more than we think. Everybody has a vet in their life, whether you know it or not, whether you recognize it or not, especially our grandparents were veterans, cousins, sisters, brothers are veterans. And I end up dating quite a few veterans, didn't realize it. But there's so much that it takes to go into the service and serve our country. They do things that you ain't gonna do because you didn't enlist for the service. But these are our heroes, and I wanted to talk to them and make some talking points about the things that they have to go through, and also talk about the resources that need to be available and that are available for veterans. I've often seen veterans not know how to get help, not know how to get the basic benefits that are owed to them. Not that they want or they don't, they owed it to them and they don't know how to get it, or they have a hard time getting it. Okay. So I want you guys to be cognizant that you too can be a help to them. Also, injuries, a main issue with veterans is PTSD. And it comes in very many forms that we don't even recognize, or we'll throw away, or people like, oh, he crazy, oh, he's shell shocked, he or she. And these are not things that we should say. These are not things we should take for granted. There are ways to cope and help and not be antagonistic of the people around us. So I want to discuss a lot of things and see where we get to and what we can talk about. And so I have a brand new person over here to the House of the Princess that I was honored to meet today. And our first guest today is Mr. David Finley. And y'all give him a hand, y'all. Welcome, David. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I said I needed some extra vests to come on, and he was down, like hands down, no refusal, no hesitation. He went straight in.
Anything from my buddy Will too.
Yeah. So thank you for coming, and we are simulcasted on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Thank you. Mother Black Diamond is also a vet, in case y'all didn't know. She is a Army vet. And David, you said you're Army brat.
Yep. Even though my whole family was Air Force up until me, but that's okay.
Hey, David, I beautifully animated. What branch of service were you in? I believe you are in the service too. Hey, Regina, and everybody's giving you hand claps and welcome you. So, hey, y'all.
It's nice to see.
My father retired from the Navy after 30 years, and my brother retired after 20 years. Well, that's like lifetime service.
Yeah, that's definitely a long time to put up with the ever-changing military.
Thank y'all for showing him some love. So would you like to tell us a little bit about your background and what made you get into the service? What branch of service? How many years you put into the service, and all that?
Yeah. All right. I'm originally from San Antonio, Texas. Graduated high school, tried the whole college thing right out the gate, and didn't really work out for me. I was more interested in other things than going to school. So my father gave me an ultimatum, since he was in the service, his father was in the service, and going back as far as they can remember, everybody was in the service. So I decided to join the Army, and I left May 18th, 2000 at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's kind of a date that you'll remember for the rest of your life. And went straight to Fort Benning, did my 12 weeks of OSUT training, did your basic, and you did your advanced training after that, straight to airborne school, 28 days of that. And then from there, straight into the Ranger indoctrination program. Unfortunately, at the time, Rangers were 110% overstaffed, so they were looking for any reason to cut you. Didn't really matter why. I mean, you breathed out of line, they cut you, and you went about. So ended up getting dropped from there. I think out of the 126 people that started, 7 made it, and none of them were infantry. So went to Fort Bragg. I got lucky. Half the other guys went to Korea. So I was happy to go to Fort Bragg and at least stay in the United States. And kind of the rest was history from there. Did 5 years in the Army. And I got out for a year and a half, realized that it wasn't really for me. I went back in and did another 7. Most of my time was spent at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I did 2 years in Germany and almost 3 years as a drill sergeant at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. That was an experience all of in itself. And then I got out in 2014, moved to Pennsylvania, where my wife is from, and we've been here ever since.
So, Pennsylvania. I think, now you said Fort Bragg. I forgot. I was going to say at the end, look, I'm dedicating this show to my godbrother. He's passed on. He didn't pass in combat, though. He was a sergeant, Sergeant Christopher Henry. And he was stationed in North Carolina as well.
Beautiful state.
He was there for a long time. And that's where he met his wife. I'm hoping she come in today. She said she was having problems with her YouTube or something, because she told me earlier. She was like, I like it when you see my name and shout me out. Hello, David. My father was an Army and ex-husband was a Marine. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Oh, y'all was some on-time people. And pause for the cause. Tonight's drink is... I told you I had that Bacardi pack, and this is the mojito from that 6-pack that I had. And David, what you got?
I have some nice cranberry juice, no sugar added. Try to drink at least 2 cups of cranberry juice a day.
Yeah, I'm cheating. I got my water though. Y'all know where I'm cheating. I keep cranberry juice in the building. Hey, Bishop, welcome. And everybody's thanking you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you for your support. And I spent years trying to figure out, what do you say to someone when they say thank you for your service? Like, do you say you're welcome, because it kind of comes off as smug and arrogant? Or do you say, just kind of smile and nod? But then I finally figured it out. I was like, well, thank you for your support, because one can't exist without the other. So seems like an appropriate response, at least from my perspective.
Kesia says, training at Fort Jackson, 5 years in Germany.
I love Germany. The 2 years that I spent there was absolutely amazing.
I heard that it's kind of nice there.
Will's in the house now. I keep meaning to try to come by Chicago and visit him. I think it's only like maybe a 7-hour drive from me, from where I'm at.
Something like that, because Ohio is 4, and it's just a little bit further. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm near Pittsburgh, so.
Evelyn said, "Good point, David. Very valid point." They're saying great response. Very nice. Well, Will, you didn't miss much. We just got started. So we only 15 minutes in. I think I took 10 minutes of that. So you didn't miss too much. It's just the intro. So we already talked about what motivated you to enlist. But Can you give us some background about how life was in the service? Did you go overseas, to combat, or what was some talking points you want to make about your experience while you were there?
Sure. When I first got to Fort Bragg, I got into 2nd 325. That's the unit that Will and I were both in. When I got there, the Kosovo deployments were still going on, it was more of a peace style training deployment for people, and they were kind of taking volunteers for that. I didn't really want to go. I just spent the past 8 months in schooling as one to just be stationary for a little bit, so I turned it down and ended up actually deploying 4 times over the next 12 years, 3 times to Iraq, once to Afghanistan. And I think it was a total of 4 years for all the deployments combined. So the army that I joined in 2000 versus the army that existed when I got out in 2014 was drastically different. And I'm sure the army that I joined in 2000 was way different than people that joined, like during Desert Storm. And then before that, Vietnam. And the army's not just the army, but the military is always changing. Policies are changing. Leadership styles change. So the military from 2005 was probably my best experience versus my 2007 to 2014 stint. It was more of the military, like you would see like in movies, maybe on TV shows, where 2 dudes got a problem with each other. They go out in the wood line, handle it, come back, and they're best friends again. Nowadays, everyone's got feelings and they're always getting hurt over things that they probably shouldn't. Things that, 10 years ago, they would have made fun of someone for getting offended over. But, times are always changing, and do what you got to do to survive at the time.
So what are the major differences that you felt as going through it?
The major differences are probably, sorry, it's my dog in the background.
I got 2 just sitting right here.
Yeah.
No, you're on punishment. Take your ass back in the room. I'm not playing with you. Go back in there. That's the one that threw the garbage all over my Let's take a pause and give a soul clap to Evangelist Val. Thank you for your super chat. She said, I love this show idea. God bless our vets and you, Princess, for using your platform in this way. Thank you so much. Thank you. I try to keep it versatile. So, Kesey, are you saying it was more dangerous? Yeah. She said, I'm a Vietnam era vet. Okay.
Yeah, it's just going back to the previous question that you proposed, was mainly it's just a lot of it was what the military would put up with from the individual soldier. Back in 2000 when I joined, I mean, you get away with a lot more, not murder, but like a lot more than what you can now. Like I got a Article 15 when I was in. I went from an E3 back down to an E1, private to private, but just different grades of private. And it was over something stupid. Looking back now on it, I was drunk at the beach when I should have been probably a lot closer to the barracks during a recall. And it didn't help that I was drinking on the beach with our commander's niece. So, just young and dumb and bad mistakes.
She must have been pretty.
She was just a friend to me. But nowadays, you do something like that, they'd probably just straight kick you out. They don't really tolerate any of the nonsense anymore, especially with deployments winding down. The level that they're going to be at, they're going to be reducing numbers. So wartime versus non-wartime levels of enlisted and even officers is a lot less. So nowadays, if you're in active duty and you did something stupid, they're probably just going to give you the boot and send you on your way. Just my opinion, because I noticed how things were when I joined. We really weren't at war yet. I mean, I joined in 2000, 9/11 didn't kick off till later. And
Yeah, that's
The
gonna leave
people
you
that got kicked out, it took a lot
that
for
one's
me to
for
get kicked
later.
out. Yeah.
I got a question I'm gonna save that for later. And yeah, my other friend that wants to come on, he says that because he's a little bit younger than me, that the day he was supposed to leave was 9/11. And so he went to Iraq, and it was like, bam, like come on down. Like, and that was scary for him. And I believe that the culture of the world and just socially, the culture was very different in 99, 2000, 2001. You can get away with, like you said, just about murder just in in regular life. When it comes to sexuality, just the culture of the world, we were less sensitive about a lot of things, and certain laws were into place. I'm not saying all of them were bad, but then not all of it was good. And I do think that sometimes now we're hypersensitive about things, and it's like you can't even blink without offending someone. So I
Yeah.
can definitely understand, like, it's probably 10 times heightened in the service.
Yeah, you have a nice mixing pot of everyone. Not everyone, even in your unit, might not even be from the United States. Like I had when I was a drill sergeant, in school at Fort Jackson, I had a guy in our class. He was actually from Cambodia. He'd only been in the country for about 3 or 4 years, and he joined the service right away. And things that we thought were funny, he didn't find very funny half the time. I think it was more because he didn't understand what the joke was about. He didn't get the references, but just simple things like that once he realized what we were talking about, the communication became a lot more open between us.
Now, I didn't know that people that weren't like natural Americans were able to join the service. I just learned something today.
Yeah, you can join and apply for citizenship depending on whatever programs there are. I want to see, it changes all the time. I want to give a definitive answer, but we had people from Puerto Rico. I know it's not exactly a different
It's an
country.
extension,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's territory, but yeah, we had people from Cambodia I had met. We had a person actually from England in my unit at Fort Bragg, my second time there. And he wasn't a citizen yet, but they became citizens. When we came back from deployment, they were able to apply and do the paperwork and things like that.
Oh, see. And I'm here to learn things. I'm learning things that I wasn't even expecting to learn. So, you went out 4 times, is that correct?
Yeah.
Three times to Iraq. How long it was each stint?
The first deployment was 12 months. It was only supposed to be 4 months for the initial invasion into Iraq, but it kept getting extended and extended and extended. Finally, 4 months turned into 6 months, into 8 months, and into 12 months. And the second deployment was literally, we left the same year we got back. So we left, and
wow,
I want to say it was Valentine's Day 2003 when we left, February 14th. And we flew to Saudi Arabia, and we waited until the night of March 7th, going into the 8th, drove up through the middle of the desert, middle of the night, and did our thing through Iraq. And that was 12 months. We got back in, when was it? I want to say it was like February, like middle of February, end of February. And yeah, Will was there. And then the second deployment, we left, I want to say it was in December of that same year. We found out like 2 weeks before. We were like, hey, we're leaving. I was actually just re-enlisted for a college option. I wasn't even in the unit. Like, I was in the unit, but I wasn't going to work every day. I was going to school. I found out through the newspaper that my unit was deploying. I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, I showed back up, and I was like, what are we doing? Like,
Gotcha,
like, oh, yeah, get your bags, put them on the truck. Oh, crap. So I think that deployment was 5 months. And then I got out August 11th, 2005. 2005. And I was out for about a year and 7 months. And I was actually a deputy sheriff in Cumberland County, where Fort Bragg is at, North Carolina. It it didn't pay well. Anyone watching your show ever decides to go into law enforcement of any type, go state police. It pays the best no matter what state you live in. State police pay the most, city, and then sheriff departments at the bottom of the list. Didn't work out. Actually ended up getting divorced from my first wife. The night I left is when she told me she didn't want to be with me anymore. And go to Germany is where I went. And it was her idea. So she got me out of the country. Joke's on me, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So I got to Germany. I was there for 3 months before we deployed. That deployment was actually 15 months long. That was the longest one. That was to Iraq as well. And then from Germany, I went to drill sergeant for 2 years, 7 months. And then went back to Fort Bragg. I got there. As soon as I got there, like, hey, our unit's deploying in a month. So left again. That time went to Afghanistan. And that deployment was 7 months, no, 8 months. It was a 9-month deployment, but they left before me because I had to get settled in and everything to my house. And I caught up about a month later. So that deployment was 8 months to Afghanistan.
Did you have kids during those times?
Yeah, I got a 16-year-old daughter with my first wife. She was born during my second deployment. So when I met her, she was 3 months old already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then my oldest son with my current wife, my last wife, is he was born while I was a drill sergeant. And then my youngest son was born 4 days after I got back from my last deployment.
Right there.
Yeah, I was barely made it.
Oh, you got some opinions. Miss Weefu said that was wrong.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing.
Like Diamond says, overseas duty station, Korea, K-Town, Germany, and Okinawa, Japan.
I took a trip up to K-Town. That was a little weekend trip. It's crazy up there. Like, I thought it was crazy around the infantry units, but my father was actually stationed in Okinawa for 8 years when he was in the Air Force.
Wow. What was your job?
I was an infantryman. So when Will and I deployed together, we were actually in a S&T platoon, which was supply and transportation. So we drove trucks, got to shoot big guns, fun stuff like that. And that was for the first 2 deployments. But my second deployment, it was the end of the first one. I got moved up to battalion. And then the second deployment, I was still up a battalion because it was, same time frame. Third deployment, I was actually a team leader and then a squad leader during the same deployment. And then for my fourth deployment, I was a squad leader. And then basically like the week we got back, I took over the platoon as a platoon sergeant. And that was his infantry.
So you get to tell people what to do. Come here, soldier.
Yeah. Sometimes it's fun, but you get blamed for everything that goes wrong. That's the only downside.
Cassia, yes, I am going to be dropping the line and allowing you guys to call in. Just give me a few minutes. I wanted you guys to get to know the guests, but definitely y'all will be able to call in and converse and give your stories and everything. So I had a question. I forgot. But anyway, let's go back to, so coming home. You already segued to working for the sheriff. Often we see soldiers come home and some people do well, but then some people don't, or they can't find jobs. How is it adjusting from one lifestyle to another?
Initially, after the first deployment, it was rough. I think it was pretty rough for all of us. It's because it had been a long time since anyone in the military had experienced the things that we had to go through for that initial deployment to Iraq. Same thing in 2001 for the guys that went to Afghanistan. No one had actually seen extended combat like that. I know Gulf War, they saw combat, but it wasn't on the same scale as urban conflict, like in cities. You still got, women and children running around, life still trying to happen in the middle of a war zone. So the first couple nights back from the first deployment, living in the barracks, it was rough because you still had units on post that were still doing their training. Like we had an artillery unit right down the street from our barracks. Doesn't even the artillery guns, 2 miles away out in the field training. When that 155 millimeter cannon goes off, it rocks the building. And that's all it takes to set someone off that just came home from being in a war zone environment where every day, they stepped outside that wire, they became okay with the idea that they could die. So it was a very sobering experience, coming to that realization. And it's hard to scale back from that. Even though you're back, you're safe, but that underlying feeling never really goes away. It's always there, especially after you stack deployment on deployment on deployment. It almost becomes just second nature to get stuck in that rut. So apply that to now you're at a job. You hear people at work, they argue, they fight, they scream. As soon as they start hearing that conflict, that underlying feeling starts to bubble back up again. And depending on your job, depending on what you do, it can have a lot of negative consequences for you. I've seen plenty of veterans that couldn't hold a steady job more than 2 or 3 weeks. Some not able to at all. Some not able to even function without any type of medication to kind of help level them out. But then unfortunately, on the other side, you have the veterans that are being over the top with it, using it as a crutch, as an excuse to try to get that sympathy, to get the benefits that they see others getting that they want. I believe that veterans are owed a certain level, but unfortunately you have the ones that will take advantage.
Yeah, I can see that. And I could tell stories. 3 people, like the other guest, Tim, I hear his stories. He went to Iraq and Afghanistan, and he's a truck driver. And he would tell me the stories of how I've forgotten the city at this point right now, um, how they would have to drive through these war territories and get shot at. And you better drive through the caravan, and make sure that they don't blow you up while you're trying to bring resources to the other soldiers. And I still see the residuals because he has PTSD. Also, my brother that's passed, he went to Afghanistan and Kosovo. And one question I asked him, because their combat was totally different. One, he was Air Force, and my brother was Marine. And one day I just asked him because I was curious. I said, well, because, he's a character. Like, nobody messes with him because he was very aggressive, sweet person, but very aggressive. 88 MC, maybe. And Will, I think Chris. I said, well, what was your first kill? I just happened to ask because we were talking candidly. And he went completely there to the moment. And he was saying, he like illustrated it because he said we had to clear a house or something, and he was just going, behind the doors or whatever. And it was his life or whoever was behind that door, and of course he was still here. So I understand now how much that stays with you. And being in an urban area, He was very big on protection, and he was no nonsense. I'm not going to play with you. I'll talk with you. I converse with you. You know, let's bring the community together. But when it came to violence or children or anything like that, family, totally no nonsense. And everybody was kind of scared of him, you know, in the neighborhood. And then I moved forward to the person I date. It's a running joke here. I call him the young man that I converse with on a consistent basis. So that was a young man. Janet, I know you're watching if you're still there. Your brother-in-law in your head is also Navy SEAL. And he deals with anxiety. He's also no nonsense. If he feels aggressed, he's very, you know, he'll posture up, and you know, his size is intimidating, but he's very sweet in nature. But there are times where within urban, he is no nonsense, and where there's a certain piece of him that I see is removed from being in the service. He can close up, or if you're talking about that type of violence, it's like desensitized. That's what I'm trying to say. He's desensitized to certain things because he has become used to seeing that. And then you transition to home after have been in combat. It's a totally different situation.
Yeah, a lot of veterans have also adapted the ability to compartmentalize. So they can take all those memories and feelings, you know, and just shove them in a box and put that box to the side. But then every now and then something will happen, and it's like it's the key to the box. And that box gets open and everything comes flooding out. It could be anything from, you know, a certain smell, certain sound, seeing something that to one person may not really seem like anything, but to that veteran, that's the trigger for something traumatic that happened while they were deployed. Whether it was something they had to do, something they witnessed someone else do, or something they witnessed, you know, one of the locals do. And when that comes out of the box, it's really hard to put back in for a lot of people.
It is.
So it's some compartmentalize better than others. Some never really learn how to lock it away. For myself, I actually have periods of time from my first 3 deployments that I can't remember. Like, it's gone. But then, like, my last deployment was actually, I saw combat almost more than the other 3 combined. It was like every day when we left out, multiple times, we would get in engagements. But that one I remember almost every single day, like it happened yesterday. But the first 3, for whatever reason, there's, a few days, weeks. For my first deployment, there's a whole month blacked out that I don't remember. And not really sure why. And I'm not really curious to find out why. Just because if my brain forgot, I'd rather not have it remember. If that makes sense.
Yes, it makes perfect sense. And Janice says, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support.
And that leads into, I was driving, I call it like a ghetto livery cab. It was a special order cab. And I forgot where this man lived. I knew it was at least an hour drive. And I would drive from the city every week. Excuse me. It was paid for by the, state or insurance. And I would have to drive like an hour out to go get him. And I can't remember what city he lives in, but it was far. And then like at least a half an hour, 45 minutes to Kankakee for his dialysis. And every once in a while, he would tell me stories about him being in the service. But he was living very poor, and he was struggling, and he didn't get a lot of money, and he didn't do drugs or none of that. And that was one time in my life that I saw that maybe he was a veteran that was being disserviced. He was staying in like a hostel. You know, he had one room in the home. This is before Airbnbs. So he was a roomer. You know, he had one room inside a little house, because this was way out in the sticks, and I live in the city of Chicago. So he would tell me like he was having a hard time paying bills. Like he wasn't getting enough money to go get a regular apartment, or he wasn't eligible or couldn't find like an apartment in maybe a senior citizen's home or a place that was disabled. They didn't even have housing for him. Now, what do you think about situations such as that?
It's hard when a veteran doesn't seek the help, just because of the sheer amount of veterans that there actually are in the United States. I wish the VA had a way to reach out to veterans to get a hold of them, but unfortunately, some people that don't want help will do everything to avoid getting help. All it takes is one phone call most of the time, and that's what gets the ball rolling, and a veteran can get a lot of help, more than they know that's actually out there. There are actually some cities now that are opening up VA, the VA grounds, like the actual grounds of a VA complex for homeless veterans, or any veteran that actually needs housing of any type to be able to go to have a place to stay, to get cleaned up, you know, to attempt to get them back on their feet. But for the ones that don't want the help, it's heartbreaking to see, because I see it. Like, even I live in a very small town. Like the neighborhood that I grew up in, San Antonio, is bigger than the town that I live in right now. Even though I'm only 30 minutes from Pittsburgh, it's a very, very small community, the kind that where everyone knows everyone. Like, you cross the street and you jaywalk, everyone knows within an hour.
Wow.
That kind of small town. Everybody's up in each other's business. And sorry if you hear fire engines. Like, I have the fire hall is literally like 200 feet that direction.
I can't hear it, but
okay.
Don't worry about it. We're not that uppity at this show. We have all kinds of things that go on here. Yeah, you'll probably hear my doorbell in a minute.
Well, as long as my neighbors don't get too loud, you won't have to see me turn my camera off for a minute. But yeah, as far as like the veteran aspect of it, it's just, I wish there was a way to convince the veterans that don't seek help that 5 minutes of their time, whether it be a phone call to any of the numbers that the VA has that are, all toll free, or one trip into like, an American Legion or in any veterans club of any type. And that's all it would take for them to get more help than they know that is out there.
Okay, we're going to go into benefits and things. Now, I know from time to time it may take a long time, or sometimes you may not get a call back from people. Do you think that some vets may be discouraged, or maybe sometimes the government kind of makes it a little bit harder for the veterans to get their benefits, and it's discouraging to some vets?
Yeah, it's about 50-50 either way. I actually just finished up with my VA claim a few weeks ago, and I got out, February of 2014, and it took 7 years and 9 months for me to, well, we'll just go with 7 years, because, you go back to about the time I filed in April. I don't know if I was lucky or what, but I mean, it took me 7 years to finally get to the point where I realized that there was something wrong. Um, the things that happened to me in the service, I should be paid for. I earned it, but the VA doesn't always make it easy to apply. A lot of people don't even know where to start. And then you have the veterans, like the kind of how I felt like if I applied for benefits, it took away from, the guys that were shot or lost a limb or multiple limbs or, have psychological issues that are beyond what's able to function in today's society. I thought that by doing that, I would discredit those veterans when that was as far from the truth as possible. I joined the veterans Reddit group and the veterans benefits Reddit group, and it's just filled with knowledgeable veterans from recent to Vietnam era that have gone through the process, have every resource available to help, all the advice, the tips, everything that anyone could ever dream of to help them get their benefits. I read through all that stuff for about a month before I filed my claims. But getting past that initial hurdle to where, one, you believe that you deserve the benefits for getting
it's yours,
damaged in the military, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, whatever it may be, you earned it. That's step one. Once you realize that you've earned it, you can go on to step two, which is knowing that by applying for them, you're not discrediting the veterans that were physically hurt. You're not taking away from them. Like, they get their money, you'll get your money. The two aren't, offset from each other. Yeah. And once you do that, and then the hardest step after that is just actually doing the claim. It's the most painful thing I've done, probably since burying my father. The having to actually relive everything for some of the claims was heart-wrenching. So, like, I'll tell you my claim experience if it kind of helps people understand the process more.
Now, wait, before you do that,
yeah,
I just want to run it back to one thing so I can also put in the chat. You said you joined Reddit groups. What keywords do you put in for that?
Veterans and veterans benefits.
Okay. So go ahead.
Okay. So I have a friend that I was at Fort Bragg with my second stint there. He was, when he got out of the military, he was awarded 100% total and permanent disability. I won't say his name or anything like that because I don't know if he wants his business out there. Consider the fact that I had hundreds of friends at Fort Bragg, it doesn't really narrow it down, so no one could probably figure that out anyway. He had been pushing me for a few months prior to that to apply. My place of employment, I have a friend there. He's 20 years older than me. He was Air Force veteran and everything. He was pushing me to apply. And then finally I got around to it. Took me 7 years to get there, but I finally got there and I applied. I applied for everything that I could think of that happened to me during the service. It doesn't matter if it was in my medical records, if I was seen by a medic, whatever the case was, I applied for everything. My initial claim had, I think it was 10 items on it. And then about 3 weeks later, I filed a second claim, and there was like 6 more. This time, as the days went on, I started thinking of more stuff that had happened while I was in. I mean, everything from a scar on my calf to shoulders to migraines, ringing in the ears, anything you can think of, file for it. Mm-hmm. And all that stuff was fine. But when you get to like the PTSD claims, I actually have a complaint in with the 1-800 number to the White House for the things that they made me do. Normally they set up a CMP exam where you go and talk to, like for the PTSD, it'd be with a licensed psychologist approved through the VA. And they have special certifications and things they have to do to get qualified to do the examinations. They don't rate or anything like that. They just ask the questions the VA gives them, and then they answer them, turn it back in. They don't give an opinion, a diagnosis, nothing like that. They just answer the questions and then send it in, and a rater does the rest. But they made me do it 3 times.
Wow.
Yeah. And then on top of it, because of the nature of the first deployment, a lot of the stuff that we did at the time was considered secret clearance only. They couldn't verify locations. So they could only verify where we were by death records. So they actually had me write out a list from my first deployment of everyone in my unit that had died. And that's the part that pissed me off more than anything, because I don't see how the two were connected. I'm not sure having a list of all my friends that died had anything to do with my PTSD claim at the time. That was combat related, not the other thing. So my response, I mean, I sent the letter in, the email, with the list, but about 3 more pages of me basically just cursing them out and giving my opinion on how I feel about their questions. So it made me feel better. But I was hoping it wouldn't get it denied. Whoever read that, whoever read that letter first was probably like, yeah, this guy's not very happy.
Yeah, pass someone else. I am Love Light Energy says, what do you think about the president? Can we say that on the air?
Oh, he's a man. Yeah.
The end. Yeah. What about the president before this president?
Oh, they're all a bunch of idiots. Every single one of them. I mean, I think I'll just say this. I think both sides right now are acting like children, and they all need to pull their heads out of their asses, like all of them, like both sides, Democrats, like Republicans, everyone. Just stop being petty and childish and just put the country first, and everything will go back to being better. Everyone's so concerned with getting their own self-interest out there. They're not representing the people that voted them in.
So we got a couple of things, and then we'll take a Q&A, allow you guys to call in. PTSD. This is a major issue. And now we've learned that people not only in the service have PTSD, but even people out of the service. But PTSD, dealing with PTSD, identifying PTSD, and maybe I think people don't understand when we picture PTSD, most of us regular people, civilians, we think of, oh, you hear a loud boom and you jump. And it's really not just that. There's so many different factions of it. And I did not know that some people, especially if they have severe PTSD, it ages them, it slows their mind down, it can debilitate them at a very young age, and it gets worse as they grow older. You want to talk about that?
Sure. PTSD is it's a funny thing, the way that it manifests. It's different for everyone. Growing up, my dad did, before I was born, obviously, he did 2 tours in Vietnam, and he had PTSD, but he didn't get any benefits. He never filed with the VA or anything like that. But after my deployment, I was able to notice the small things about him. Obviously, I didn't know my dad before he deployed. I only have what my mother tells me, and then how I knew him. PTSD for me and my father, I noticed it in him as well. It can cause, I wouldn't say memory loss, but more of memory fatigue. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's bedtime. Why wouldn't it be snack time at the same time? So, bless you. There are things that, like, I'll think I did or I said I did, but I didn't do it. There's 0 to 100 anger bursts that are over nothing, like to a normal person or to anyone.
Like,
really.
why you tripping?
Yeah,
I've
like
been a victim of that.
Like nothing
It's
happened.
not that
like,
serious.
Yeah, calm down. But at the time, just someone saying, "Hey, calm down," it's like throwing gasoline on a fire.
That's to make it worse.
Yeah, it's just
I'm just like, okay. That's what I just learned. Okay, walk away.
Yeah, I've recently gotten better at that with my wife. Just when I feel that unexplainable anger starting to rise up, I'll just excuse myself from the situation, go upstairs, go outside. I actually started picking up crocheting, learn how to do that, keep the hands busy, keep the mind occupied. Hopefully by Christmas time, I can make a hat for someone to wear. I don't know. Got some yarn, got some needles. We'll see what happens. But it just, the way it manifests, it's just like, even this way your sense of humor would change. Like, it's things are funny, but there's just no reaction on the outside. Like, on the inside, you might be laughing, but on the outside, it's like it's turned off. There's nothing there. It's just a blank slate. Irritation to nothing. Just general bad mood for no reason. I don't know what's going on right now.
It's a Snuggie.
He actually confiscated my Snuggie. I had one. I don't know where it is now. He has it somewhere in his room. But a lot of people attribute PTSD to someone as being moody, cranky, they're just a grumpy person, when it took time for them to get to how they are now. Some people seek treatment, some people don't. I know several veterans that I've met through the Reddit page that said they tried therapy. They're all different types, and all it did for them was make it worse. And of course, the doctor tells them, it can get worse before it gets better. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it getting worse is bad, and just them dealing with what they have now for them is better. It's just, it's a very touchy thing for some people. And then some people don't want to admit that that's what it actually is, whether it be combat related or other trauma related while they were in the service. It's just getting people to recognize it in themselves instead of just trying to blame other people for the way they are. Once, I guess, you can get past that, it's a lot easier to get the help that you need once you realize that you're not just an ass.
Yeah. I can say that how many years has it been? Maybe 12 years. 12, 13 years. I've dealt with 3 servicemen. And at least 2 of them factual. I know they have PTSD. The other one, I'm not sure. It wasn't long enough for me to identify. And I can say one, like, we were in the drive-thru. Something as simple as that. I don't like this restaurant. I don't like the vibe around here, or I don't like the area. And a whole nervousness comes upon them. I want to be here, you know, or you can go around a group of people and the attitude change. I don't like these people. I don't want to be here. You know, you're like, I only been here 2 minutes. I don't give a shit. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. Or I've been a witness to the ringing in the ears, the migraines, the debilitating headaches, just the anxiety, even driving or just doing basic things. So, what I'm learning is with each person, what are soothing and coping mechanisms for them. You know, I would say I'm a proponent of therapy, promoter of therapy, but sometimes they're not into it. Sometimes you get some things, sometimes you don't. Um, but I'm learning other ways of coping and soothing. See, you have a dog. That's why these dogs are here. We have emotional support dogs. One is registered federally as a, you know, uh, what y'all call it? He's an actual, federally registered as an assistant, a dog, a medical dog. So, but I noticed that when it's nothing that I can do, and I'm removed, it might be something as simple as the dogs being there, and as a coping mechanism. I'm learning natural stuff like scents, lavender. Like you said, sometimes it's just the smell of something can aggravate smells. I'm learning I ain't gonna argue with you. I'm gonna go about my business and leave you the hell alone so you can decompress.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm able to separate myself in order to do a reset. So, I just want to say that those things are important. Welcome, Fields of Grace. Christine says a lot of people with addiction have PTSD. You want to address that?
Yeah, switch that around too. I know a lot of people with PTSD that actually have a lot of addictions. Um, one of my friends that was at Fort Bragg for my second stint, uh, when he got out a few months before I did, he actually lived about 20 minutes from here,
Thank y'all.
and he he actually got addicted to heroin real bad, to the point where his mom kicked him out of the house. He was stealing from his family, and uh, he actually got admitted to a rehab center against his will by his family. On, I forget what they did. It was some type of psych order at first, and then he agreed to go to the rehab to
5150, he
yeah,
feel he's going to harm them or something like that.
yeah, and I think he's clean now. He's living down in Florida at the time right now with his cousin, so I haven't heard from him in a few months. I know he's still alive, just through other friends that are more contact with him than I am. But it's just a lot of veterans fall into something that makes the pain go away, and it gets out of control, and then that just leads down another road, whether it be alcohol, drugs. The addiction doesn't have to be something like that. Some get into the extreme sports where the thrill of doing what they're doing could actually kill them is what keeps their mind occupied, so they're not having to deal with the memories that they exist with. So
That's a fact. I can say that my brother, when we talk, like people didn't understand, we would just spend the night, we would just talk, and talking would help him. And he confessed to me one day that, he was indulging in alcoholism. He's like, I drink so that I can go to sleep, so that I can shut my mind down enough to sleep, because he would have flashbacks or, visions in his head from time to time, and nightmares of sleeping. I know plenty of people that, say they have nightmares or visions, excuse me, and it would cause them, to indulge in whatever They need to. I know a lot of people that smoke reefer, or weed is a common. What are your thoughts on that? Now that it's becoming legal in a lot of places.
When it comes to that, I mean, I'm a firm believer if that's what makes you at peace, gives you that calmness, by all means, do it. I've never known any violent crime to happen over someone smoking a little weed. So it's just my personal experience. I know a lot of people do it for anxiety, to help keep them calm. I have friends that have their medical cards as well. The only downside to I'm not sure if it's a federal thing or if it's a state level thing, but I know in Pennsylvania, if you have your medical card, you can't get a carry concealed permit. So there's drawbacks to doing it the legal way. That's why a lot of people do it the illegal way, depending on what state you live in, I guess. But me, I don't really do anything. I did, I used to smoke a few years ago, but kind of got away from that just because I was looking at like getting federal jobs and things like that. I didn't want that to come up. Yeah, I didn't want that to ruin any chances for me to support my family. I've thought about getting my medical card here in Pennsylvania, but I never really pursued it much. Now I just crochet. If you don't believe me,
you got the whole
my needles.
Yeah, you got some blankets going on.
I got all my yarns. Yep, that's what I do now.
Who do you crochet for, or do you sell stuff, or?
No. I'm still learning. I bought a book to try to. It was like a Harry Potter crochet book. I thought it'd show me everything. No, it might as well have been Chinese. I didn't understand a thing in that book, so I had to go to YouTube videos teach me.
I was gonna say there are some good YouTube videos that'll show you, but Michael's have some great books of crochet and macrame.
I wish I had like my grandma. She didn't crochet, but if she did crochet, I need like that old grandma to set me down, make me something to eat first, and then say, all right, get your yarn and needles. Now we're going to do this.
I found a Facebook group. Dr. J says, well, the cigarette companies would send free cigarettes to World War II soldiers, and they got hooked on nicotine.
Yeah,
wow.
Lucky Strike.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Lucky Strike. They would send cigarettes over, like in the MREs and stuff.
I have smoked to help my PTSD. And Janice says, yes, David, yes. Yes for the crochet. So I'm going to open up the lines for you to call in so y'all could come backstage. So I'm putting that in the chat now. But in the meantime, the world has changed so much with the change of government. And like I'm sure you've seen a lot, and I'm absolutely sure you know a lot of things that are behind the scenes governmental versus civilian life. It's dangerous out here. We're a shortage of food. This is a post-pandemic. Well, it's not even post quite yet. Post-pandemic type of world. What is your views on the state of the world today, policies, and how things will be going? Because it's kind of tight out here.
Yeah. And the states aren't really doing anything to make it better. Like here in Pennsylvania, they're tossing out, EBT money like it's going out of style. Like when the school was shut down last year, pretty much every child in Pennsylvania got an EBT card mailed to their house.
Yeah, they did that here too.
Yeah. Well, we found out
and then my child is in college.
Yeah, I mean, there are people. Like I work for Sam's Club. I'm a supervisor.
Oh, hey.
And I see people coming through with like $7,000 on their card. I'm like, what? Like how? Like
got 10 kids and they put the double and the triple in the back.
I guess, but like just last week we found out that they gave every kid in Pennsylvania another $326 For why? Like they're in school, like, and they wonder why
because some
taxes gets
people have
raised.
the option to stay. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Here in Pennsylvania, we got the second highest gas tax in the country. I mean, we're up to 355 in some areas, higher in others, depending on where you live in Pennsylvania. Tobacco tax is outrageous. It's almost $9 a pack. Oh wait, it's more than that. Hey babe, how much are cigarettes now? It's 1908 for 2 packs of Marlboro. I know that. 19 what? What'd you say?
Like, we must be somewhere around number 1.
Yeah, I'm about to start growing tobacco leaves in my backyard if this starts getting any
I
higher.
think a pack of cigarettes in the cities, like, what is it, Newports, is like $12, $13.
Ridiculous. Like it's just ridiculous. But it's just, I mean, working and yeah, we got chicken wings. Yeah,
that's
back
her
in the
thing. She loves
HMS.
chicken wings, and they have a shortage down in Florida on chicken wings.
Yeah, my younger brother, he works for Raising Cane's, and he's actually in charge of he's like director of something operation. I don't know. Basically, he handles all the chicken contracts, goes to all the chicken plants, and he has to bid almost daily on chicken, and just the price of chickens is giving him PTSD. Like, yeah, he stays up late, just watching the markets and trying to figure out when the best time to bid and doing contracts. So the hardest part is trying to get
some chicken in Tyson.
Be good, but it's just it's crazy. And working for Sam's Club, we see all this stuff coming in, and then you got the media gaslighting people saying, "Oh, go out and buy now, it's not going to be there." And then you have all the people coming and buying everything, and then they're getting mad at each other. It wouldn't be a shortage if everyone wasn't trying to hoard everything. That's part of the problem as well. I mean, one of my best friends down the street last year, back when you couldn't find it was easier to find cocaine than it was to find toilet paper last year.
Yeah.
And he opens up his closet. He's like, look at this. He's got like 14 just stacks, like, bags. What does toilet paper come in? Like,
in the back, yeah.
I don't know.
So you would have hated me, but for me,
were you one of them?
I'm a professional couponer. So I already had the shit here. So I would like sell it. So that was like my normal thing. So when I was in, when it all started, I really didn't get the memo. And I'm doing my regular shopping. I'm like, what in the hell are these people doing with all this toilet paper? Why are they buying the fucking toilet paper? And I'm going off. And I'm there just clamoring. And then the next week, I'm like, well, why ain't no toilet paper and paper towels in there? And God is still good. So I decided not to sell like that week or whatever. Come to find, look, dog, you're moving my camera. When I finally got the memo that there was going to be a shortage on toilet tissue, I literally had enough toilet tissue of various kinds. I took care of my close family, intimate friends. I had enough for them, and I still was trying to find different places because we didn't know where it would end. And I had surgery in July of 2020 as well. The last time, now it's time for me to go back shopping. The last time I officially went shopping and couponing was in March of 2020. I have not had to buy any toilet tissue until like 2 months ago, a month ago in 2021. So I still have plenty of detergent. I had Lysol. I was winding down, but I had all that. And now still I buy food when I can. I go to the meat market and I buy packs of food, not because I want to hoard, but I feel that something else is coming. I've had people say that they're selling MREs in the Walmart. So I don't want to hoard, but I am anxious that let me steady buy Lysol. Every time I go to the store, I buy a Lysol. When I go to the meat house, I just buy this on a consistent basis, just in case we have this happen again or something worse, which is towards the end of times.
Well, also there's a difference between hoarding and prepping. People that prep or keep a certain level of items on stock have always done that. People that are doing it recently because of everything going on, for the sole purpose of just having it, that's the difference between hoarding and prepping.
Wow. My condolences. Hush, dog. That's deep. War widows are losing their homes. Gone somewhere now. I'm talking. War widows are losing their homes because the county says their homes are in need of repairs and they can't afford to repair them even after the House of Heroes worked on it. Wow. Yeah.
So for that one, depending on benefits and things like that paid by the VA, there's lots of programs through the VA that can actually give them grants to get those repairs, or at least get a stay on the county to kind of back off.
Are they trying to get everybody on plant-based food? Question.
Not me. I like meat.
And if you have questions, I know Kesia, she's still here. You could call in. The link is pinned at the top of the chat, and I just put it in again. Why does people having food have to do with anything? Well, it's not having food. I think it's the excess of food. It to me, it translated something with the economy changing. And David, you can maybe expound upon what your thoughts on that was.
Yeah, it's an issue that goes up a lot higher than things at the local level. Just the whole transportation issue. Like, I know around here, there's every single trucking company and shipping company has an extreme shortage of drivers. Going back to last year, when you pay people more money to sit home than to go to work, a lot of people are going to take that option. Like, I knew people that were 19, 20 years old with unemployment, and then the kicker on top of it, they were bringing home, and then to max out SNAP, because everyone got maxed out that was on that, you're bringing home over $5,000 a month. Like, why would you want to go to work? You're bringing home $5,000 a month. So people kind of get used to that. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, it's hard to get people to go to work here.
Yeah, same thing here. I mean, even at Sam's, we're extremely short-staffed. Wow. Even though higher up corporate, they want to tell us we are 100% staffed. When I've got 10 openings just in the morning, I know that I'm not, despite what they say.
Hey, Trav, I haven't seen you here in a while. I've been very anxious as well. Excuse me, Greenie. I'm doing an interview. Take your assets on somewhere. I can't take you outside. Go on now. You're going to have to wait. Okay? Now you can sit down there if you like. You don't have to be sorry. You're okay. Excuse me. She rolls over and shows her stomach. Just this. Like, I'm sorry. You don't have to be sorry. And then, no, I'm not going to rub you right now. So, yes, I'm going to give y'all like 5 minutes to call in. And after that, we're going to wrap it up. Let's see what else, other questions that we had on here. I know. Where's the thing? Oh my gosh. It's messing up. What is the best way? Well, I have two questions now. From your viewpoint, because I know you told me you did research on PTSD. What are some telltale signs and the best way to start identifying?
The two biggest things from my perspective are the withdrawal from things that normally make you happy. Like the things that you would normally do, activities, friendships, just the normal things in your life that bring you joy. Once you can identify that, that should be a huge red flag. And then the other thing for me was just the lack of feeling for anything. It's just the lack of feeling towards anything and anyone other than anger. Like I know for me, when I had my CMP exam with the psychologist, he asked me a question and it rocked me pretty hard. At the time, it was a few months ago. He asked me, "What do you do that makes you happy?" And I really didn't have an answer for him. I wasn't really sure what to say. I just kind of sat there in silence for 30 seconds before I said, "I don't know." And he just kind of wrote that down and went about to the next question and just kept on going. And ever since he asked that question, every day I've tried to find things that bring me joy. Because after I talk with my wife about all this stuff, I'm very open with her. She's pretty much the only person I do talk to about it. That if I'm not happy with me, then I can't be happy for her, can't be happy with her. I can't be happy for my kids. I can't be happy with my kids until I'm happy with what I am. And like, if I can't have joy, how can I expect to show joy with other people?
Okay. So this is a very, very familiar conversation. So what is your advice to the people on the other side to support you, or how do you tell her to support you?
Just give people patience and just give them space. If you know a veteran or you become friends with one, whether it be through work, church, social activities, whatever, and they seem off that day, don't keep asking them what's wrong. It's irritating. If they want to tell you, they'll tell you. If they don't, just let it be. Kind of like my motto for a very long time has just been, it is what it is until it isn't. It's just kind of like, if I'm in a bad mood, just give me my space until that bad mood goes away. Because if that bad mood is PTSD related, it will pass. It will go away. But while you're in that moment, there's nothing that's going to take them out of that moment until either they find a way to turn it off or the brain finally just subsides those memories. There's nothing on the planet that's going to take it away. And then the constant pushing, the constant asking, what's wrong? What's going on? It's
unless just that, like, okay, let you decompress and
like
my business.
I have a veteran friend I work with. He could ask me 100 times what's wrong, and I probably wouldn't get mad at him. I'd be like, shut up, leave me alone. But other people that don't really understand, that keep saying, it's the way, it's not so much saying it, it's what's behind the question and the tone, if that makes sense. Like with my veteran buddy, like there's more choice language when he asked me what's wrong, versus say, one of the other supervisors that have never experienced anything like that, to be like, what's wrong with you? And it's more of a accusatory tone,
aggressive.
Yeah. It's different. So just space and understanding.
This is worse than having children, real children.
Mine's passed out on the other side of the room. So.
He has 3, and so the baby is literally between my legs. Like, you're gonna pet me? Like, it's like I need attention now. Deborah says gas prices are almost $5 a gallon, and the lowest price. And we have veterans at 10% and 10% in California. They bring in $180 and $44 a month, and California has the highest cost of living. That's disgusting. How they gonna live?
Yeah, 10%, so about $144 in every state, and you can't even add on dependents until you get to 30%.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
We need a DAV and a VA hospital that help my fellow soldier get the real people and get a real and true evaluation.
that's so they contract that a lot through like LHI, QTC, and VES are the three main companies that do the outside uh, CMP exams and evaluations for the VA. The VA is starting to get back to doing them again, but it unfortunately it's a crapshoot to see if you get someone who actually cares versus someone who's trying to protect the money. Like somehow it's like their kids don't get to eat meat that week if somehow they give a veteran a good rating.
No chicken for you.
Yeah, you get the plant-based chicken this week.
Christine said, I think therapy is helpful. You can find a good therapist if you can afford it. This is alcohol you get drinking. I had to take my uncle's gun safe away. Then I remember from experience, look under the mattress, a Glock 9 and a knife. Okay, so my brother, he would not. I asked him vie for some of his benefits because he said if I claim my benefits and disability of some sort, they would take my guns away, and I don't feel protected. And
See,
that was his thing during that time.
That's a misconception. The only way that may happen at all is if you get 100% for not even PTSD, but for a mental health disorder. And you might get flagged, but that's the only way they might take away your gun. That's a very slippery slope for a veteran to get diagnosed with a mental health issue, and then for the government to come and say, all right, well, you're crazy, give us your guns. So that I could see a big uprising if that actually were to happen, more often than not.
Oh wow. Yeah, I'm in the midst of beginning to learn how to shoot. And of course, my brother was supposed to teach me how to shoot before he passed. And he was like, "Oh, you're scary." I said, "No, I'm not scared of the gun. I'm just scared of not using it right." And then he would have like weapons of mass destruction, like shit that you're not necessarily supposed to have in the house, like AK-47 type, type of gun. I'm like, where you get this from? He's like, don't worry about that, those types of things.
The less you know.
Yeah, right. And now and then, I think, a lot. This is bringing back a lot about him. That the alcoholism is part of what killed him. He was depressed and it made him go into alcoholism. And what happened is it affected his cholesterol in his liver. And he wasn't even 40 when he passed. And I think about what if we had did things differently, or maybe assistance was done differently, or compassion was, given to him differently. If we could identify some telltale signs, or he had other coping mechanisms, would have helped him be living today?
It's easy to do the what if game. But when you do that, it's almost like self-justification. I'm like, if I had done this, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But if you would have done that, what would his reaction have been? Would have been towards the way you're thinking, or would have pushed it in the other direction? So it's nice to be able to think that, I recognize the telltale signs. I could have helped, but I don't know. It's just like,
But we didn't know. I didn't know.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that he was having health issues, and the way he passed was, it was like this. And he called, and he was at work. He was working at Walmart. And he didn't feel well. And there's still so many questions behind, his passing. And he called his wife and he said, well, I'm going to the hospital because I'm hurting, like near my appendix. My stomach hurts real bad. Like she said, he was damn near in tears. And when they checked him in, he called her, called everybody. I didn't speak to him. I didn't even know what was going on. And they put him in a medically induced coma. And that was, he never woke up. And it was so unexpected. And
I can relate. Not towards like the alcoholism and things, but the way my father passed. I thought he was in good shape. I didn't know if there were any underlying medical issues. There's still a lot of questions to this day. It's been, this was 12 years this year. Him and my mom, I was at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, literally moving into my house when I got the phone call that my dad had a heart attack in our house. And then 20 minutes later, I got the phone call saying that he didn't make it. And when I got the story, him and my mom were sitting on the couch watching TV. He said he felt hot, was going to get a glass of water, took 5 steps, and was dead before he hit the floor. So why things happen is beyond me. Like, I know he would, he'd drink Jack and Cokes. He smoked cigars, and he had smoked for, 30 years before that, for as long as I knew. So why things happen, I don't know. I'll never know, why. My mother declined the autopsy, said it wouldn't have done anything to make it better. So
wow. But it helps me to now, when I'm dealing with others, to pay attention more. Pay attention, not just ask the questions, but look for things, and also look for solutions, and to be more proactive. Deborah says, yes, CPS evaluation explain why they use unqualified people and have all medical evidence. Made it be my civilian doctor and my VA doctor, and why some used and won't use civilian documents. Black Diamond said, Lord have mercy on this soul. Beautifully Animated says, my cousin was an alcoholic from the military. He drank beer and continued, but when he was put on dialysis, no water or anything that wasn't beer. Wow. It's okay, Black Diamond. It's been a couple of years, but it still becomes fresh some days. And when I was in the military, they send us to an outside doctor. May it be that they didn't have a qualified doctor to figure out what was going on. I am over 60. My condolences to you, but I'm sorry that you and your family had to go through that. Thank you. I didn't want another uncle blowing his brains out. He said he couldn't take it anymore. My cousin, his son, tried to talk to him. Nobody should have to clean up parents' brains. Wow. Wow. Let's speak truth. The military allowed underage to drink when I was in. Wow. And I saw too many come home as alcoholics and drug addicts. Interesting. And so, was that in the 70s, Deborah? Because you say you're 60. So, that probably was during. And again, like you said, the service changed completely over time. So,
Yeah, I
those
mean,
things were allowed. They're not allowed today,
yeah, I mean, the military used to have a 2 beer limit for lunch as well. Some people sometimes surpass that. When I lived in Germany, they had actually ended that when I just got there. But I wouldn't say the military allowed, well, at least when I was in, they didn't allow underage drinking. Because if you got caught, I mean, you got it was pretty bad. Even as in the infantry. But things that happened in the barracks behind closed doors, they couldn't really control that. It's no different than a 19-year-old in college going to a party and drinking on the weekends versus in the military. They're gonna have more access to it probably in the military, but it's gonna be kind of the same situation. You have people in age groups anywhere from 18 up to 26 hanging out. They're going to drink whether they're at the beach, at the lake, the river, wherever they are, hanging out in the barracks, friend's house. It's going to happen.
Do you think that like drugs are prevalent in the military still?
Yes, and I think it really depends on what base you're at. Some bases are way worse than others. Fort Bragg, it was present, but it wasn't as bad as say like Fort Hood down in Texas. Um, that base is out of control. I know that a lot of people have been relieved of command lately, not just for the soldiers that were kidnapped or murdered, but like there's known gangs like of soldiers that operate on the post. Uh,
What?
yeah, like at work, you might have a first sergeant in charge of the company, but after working the gang, that first sergeant might be lower than say a private that's in the gang. So it's just it's crazy. Like, and then what other bases that I know there were bad drugs at? Um, well, out in Korea, I know they've got a bad opium problem out there. So
Yeah, I've
it
heard
really,
that.
yeah, it really just depends on what post you're at for the things. Every post has its thing that it's known for. So, and Fort Bragg's probably more known for drinking than anything, just because the units that are there.
Well, all right. Oh, we got another question coming in. I see it different. Like the questions coming in quicker to y'all than it comes to me. What about Shaw or Jackson?
Shaw Air Force Base, that's the one you're talking about. I don't really know too much about Shaw. I know people that were stationed there. Fort Jackson, it's the time that I spent there. There's a lot of higher ups that are there, especially with drill sergeant school being there. Um, Not just the drill sergeant school, but there's other leadership courses that are there as well. There's a lot of higher ups there on post. There's a lot less nonsense at Fort Jackson than at a lot of other military bases. Yeah, see, people know about Fort Hood. It's bad. And I'm from Texas too. It's sad. I would have loved to have been stationed down there, but I'm glad I didn't once I found out what happens down there.
Yeah, now we're hearing such like bad things. I'm like, especially with women in the military, and I can't imagine going through some of the drama that they go through or abuse going through at Fort Hood or anywhere. Like it's terrible. She said, yeah. Okay. David, forehead is real bad. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. How old are you? Because you spoke in Germany. Because when I was in Germany, our kids were drinking and using drugs at the age of 12.
Yeah, well, I'm 41, and the legal drinking age in Germany is 16 right now, if I remember correctly. So I remember being at the different Volksfests and the beer tents and everything, and there were young kids in there drinking, but not like here in America. I don't think I saw any fights the entire time I was there, and more people just eating, drinking, singing, dancing, standing up on tables, things like that. If a fight did break out, normally there was an American involved.
Can you imagine if you could drink that young here?
Well, down in Mexico, if you can reach the bar, you can get a drink. So different places, you know.
Wow. So I'm gonna close this out. We're almost at an hour and 45. David, thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your resources. Do you have anything else that you want to share or send a shout out to the people?
Yeah, just thanks for all the support, all the shout outs from everyone in the chat. Appreciate everything everyone has said. And if you know a veteran that needs help, if they don't want to talk to you at all, please point them in the direction of their nearest Veterans of Foreign Wars, a VFW, or an American Legion, or a VSO. Just tell them to literally just Google VSO, and they'll be able to reach out to someone to help them with their claims or anything that they need.
Yeah, I definitely learned something with that, because as a civilian, even though I don't know everything, I still would like to be a catalyst of help. You know, I want to be able to help someone who may not know what to do as much as I can. She said that's why I don't want my granddaughter to serve in the military. My daughter almost went to the Air Force, and look, she can change her mind at any time. So I don't know. Miss Easley says thank you, and she said very helpful. So yes, thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
So with that being said, if you are watching the replay of this video, or you're in the beginning of the video, you end up here, thank you for watching. Please press the like button. Please press the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. And if you really like me, join the channel. We want to continue to have not only the mess or, entertainment, but I like to have enlightening subjects as well. So if you also have any more questions, feel free to inbox them to me, put them on my community tab, or, DM me on Instagram, or email me at info@hausoftheeprincess.com, and I will answer it. I'll put that email up in a second. Is it true if you're a single parent that you can't serve?
That's not true.
I'm like, I don't think that's true.
They want a family support plan put in place for deployments or anything were to happen, but you can definitely serve if you're a single parent. I knew a couple of them.
I was gonna say, I think I know some that got in there after, like, as an older age, they were single parents. So that is my email. If you have some questions, and David is free to answer them, just forward them to me, subject line, veterans, and I'll know what it's about, and then we will help you out with that. Also, she said no. Dr. J says, thank you, David, for taking time away from your family to chat with us.
You're welcome.
Also, I'm putting in the chat for those who haven't found out yet. I do have a second channel that I'm working on this week to put up some content. Okay, that is my reviews, blogs, and vlogs, reviews, and stuff like that. My restaurant reviews, unboxings of other products, movie reviews, stuff like that. Y'all go follow that channel, please. Get me up to 100 so I can change the name of the channel. It is called Princess AV Tried It. So that's the link in there. Remember to support royalty beauty brands I did have the clear gloss on top of the lipstick, the liquid lipstick today. I'll be having a Black Friday sale real soon. And those who you are actual channel members, your discounts are already posted really late. I'm sorry. They're posted in the community tab. So go look for them, go find them. We're going to have some more activities before the month is over. I promise of that. Also, yeah, go sign up for the intimateduchess.com for the mailing list. That is the bra store, lingerie store, intimate store. So go do that. Also, y'all already know I'm going to be in the building tomorrow. Tomorrow. I love you. That wasn't for you, puppy. Tomorrow here at 6:30 Central Standard Time, 7:30 Eastern, we'll be here for the Housewives of Potomac review. And that'll be me and Mace Moreau, Shady B, and maybe a special guest, but I ain't gonna tell you who. We'll be doing a review of the part 2 of the reunion, and you know we get a good kiki with that. Deborah Jones says, thank you, David, but we had an individual stating that the alcohol and drugs did not happen in the 70s. And I have to say, yes, alcoholism and drug addicts did happen in the 70s and forward. But I think, again, maybe it's relative to where you were, you know? And I think what she was saying, they didn't have the 12-year-olds at that time. I think that was my interpretation of that. Mother Diamond, you could clarify if you want to. I am love, light, and energy. Good night, everyone. Peace, love, light, and energy, and positive vibes. Yes, that's like a great, a great way to end. Again, David, thank you for coming. I'm just going to put you backstage. In the meantime, you guys, I think I got all the announcements out. I want to tell you I love you guys. I thank you for coming. Oh, wait. Beautifully, I could kick you in your head. Are you serious? I'm giving the closing remarks. What you want, gal?
Hey, David. Hey,
hello.
No, I have one quick question because let's see. Like I said, I was in the Army ROTC in high school, and in one of the parades, I think it was Veterans Day, whatever. I was a lieutenant at the time, and they had me called in cadence and stuff like that. And, you know, at some point during the parades, they stop you so people can catch up and stuff. A veteran popped up in the street and saluted us. And everyone was at attention waiting for the crowd. And hold up, I'm getting background. Okay. So, yeah, we were stopped in the street and none of us knew what to do. So I called everyone to salute him. You know what I'm saying? But my problem with it is that we weren't prepared. We were never taught what to do when we actually run into a veteran who salutes us and stuff like that. So it's like, who do we talk to to make it so they can reach out to these schools, to the ROTC, and let them know like how to handle a situation like that? Because we don't want to disrespect any veteran at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right. A lot of the veterans that do that, they do it more so as respect to y'all for walking by. No response is actually needed. It's the same thing as when a funeral procession goes by, you know, especially if it's a veteran or it has American flags on the front of it. Some veterans may stop and salute as the caravan goes by. It's not so much expecting something in return. It's more giving respect to what's passing by in front of the veteran. But you can by all means reach out to local college ROTCs if you have any in the area, because they always have an officer and a senior enlisted assigned to them, and they are more well versed in the ROTC aspects and the customs that would come with it, more so than I would be. But it's definitely more of a one-way show of respect without the need of any type of reciprocation towards the veteran.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
that's all I had. Huh? No, we saluted his ass. I made sure that, like, I mean, my dad's a veteran, so
yeah. I mean, if anything, you would just call, like, say they're on the left side of the road as you're walking by, you'd like just say eyes left, and everyone look over to acknowledge the veteran, and then call eyes front, anything like that. I mean, but honestly, just it's more for him to show respect to you than anything that you need to do back to him or her.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for calling in Beautifully Animated.
She's gonna get me for this.
Bye-bye.
But I love you, sis. Mwah. All right.
He says, I love this content, and I have to speak the truth I did when I was in the state and overseas. And I appreciate all of your input. It is very much appreciated. Y'all watching and supporting is always appreciated, no matter how little or how big the audience is. I appreciate all of you, especially your interaction with the channel. So share this with someone that needs to see it, okay? So we're going to try this again. Thank you for watching House of the Princess, where we're 50% righteous, 50% ratchet. This is Mr. David Finley, Army retired veteran, and he has been our guest. This reminds me of the commentary my son Ashley after came on. Everyone stop this. Y'all silly. But yes, I am Princess AV, your host, and I thank y'all for watching. And now it's time for me to turn out the lights. See you tomorrow. You have a great evening. Bye-bye. Bye. And be happy on purpose.
Royalty Beauty Brands is a female, Black-owned beauty company with all of your cosmetic needs in mind. Right now, we offer hair extensions, eyelash extensions, and our flagship product, Yumbella Lip Balm. Coming soon to add to our product line will be promo merchandise, lip oil, lip scrub, beard oil, body butter, body soap, and makeup, to name a few. Every product is vegan friendly and carefully made with the consumer in mind. Check out our Royalty Beauty Brand social media and go to our website to sign up for our exclusive mailing list for discount codes and to place an order. Don't forget to leave us some feedback. Royalty Beauty Brands. We see the beauty in you.